Our beam package is a lightweight cedar material. It's a reproduction barnwood as well, but it's a hollow beam. So installation is really simple. They're lightweight. One person can do it. They go up over a sleeper. This is a sleeper. So we'll start by installing these. These are cut to fit the inside diameter of the beam. So we'll start by installing this up to the ceiling, and then the beams will fit right over the top like that. And then we'll just put a simple tack nail in the sides to hold the beams up, and it's done. Complete transformation. So these are pre-drilled right now to fit the stud pattern in the ceiling. It's important to start with a stud finder, figure out where your studs are. Your sleepers, you definitely want those mounted well, especially if you're working with oak beams. With the cedar beams, they're pretty lightweight. It's not that big a deal. You can use a drywall fastener for the sleeper with the cedar beams as long as they're not too large. But for oak beams, and for today, we're going to be mounting these right into the studs with screws, and when this is done, it's going to be very solid. So I pre-drilled the holes in the sleepers to fit a 3-inch heavy-duty drywall screw. The reason I oversized the hole a little bit is to just be sure that when I do hit a stud, I know I hit a stud. If the screw is too tight in the sleeper, you may not know. It might be a tight screw, it might set, but you may only be in your sleeper and not into an actual stud. So this way, if I miss the stud, the screw's gonna spin, and I know I didn't get a good purchase. So that particular location has an L beam, and that's going to wrap right up over that. We got to cut these to length still. Now we'll find center for the next two pieces. So that's one edge of the stud. It's following across. There's the other edge. Stud there. So this is just finding the studs behind the sheetrock so I know where I'm hitting them. I had already done one and then pre-drilled everything to match. So every piece is against that wall coming out, and all the studs are indexed on these pieces. But I'm just double checking a couple of these locations right now, just to make sure that there it is. There's the other side, and then hollow. This will also indicate wires. So if there's a live electrical wire, this will start blinking and it'll tell me just to be cautious. So the sleepers are installed. Now we're going to start cutting our beams to length, and then we'll just start fitting them in and tacking them right into the sleepers. So we're using a 15 gauge finish nail to hold these in, and that'll be plenty strong. Now I'll use an 18 gauge to toe nail that bottom edge just into this paneling here, just enough to catch it. This is the one thing you can do to a finish painted room. You can install these with very little damage to the actual paint, and it makes such a difference. Just a transformation. And they're light. At least in the cedar, they're light. The oak is a bit heavier. Definitely a two-man job with the oak. It's an old looking timber, and it also has a very clean fit. That factory edge right along the ceiling is what makes it look structural. It looks like it's buried up into the sheetrock. That's how a beam should look. And they don't need to be real tight. You know, it's all got to look like just a solid built timber.